All right, here we go. Let's do some Q&A. So what you need to know about this part over here is that these are actually questions that are coming from you guys. If you remember, I did a Instagram account takeover with Production Music Live just when I was building this this whole studio, and a couple of times I asked you guys for your questions to see what is it that you wanted to see covered in this masterclass, and you guys sent me a lot of good ideas, and quite a lot of the material was actually created for the masterclass with those questions in mind. So I'm gonna very quickly flip through all of these, and if there is something that I didn't cover during the masterclass, then I'm gonna do my best to quickly answer it. So first one is about subwoofers. There's how large are the monitors? Those look like 8 inches, so why the subwoofers? So yes, the monitors, if you remember, they are 6.5 inches, and the subwoofer is only there to fill in the bottom frequency range. And again, I'm going to refer you to the how to set up your monitors module, because we discuss everything in there in very deep detail. The person who sent this question contributed a lot to that section, because I felt like I needed to explain this in a very good detail. Bro, you made great tutorials, Unpacked. I learned a lot. Thank you very much. Awesome. I'm glad to hear. But I'm sorry for that. I don't like your beard. Doesn't like my beard. What's wrong with my beard, man? It's funny. I love it. That's cute. Or when I put the 3 screens up. Now Ableton will have to add 3 screen support. Oh, indeed. They only have 2, right? Okay, why are your tweeters towards the center? Shouldn't they be outside for a better stereo image? Lovely studio though. First, thanks very much. I appreciate that sentiment. At that time, when I only had the focals, I felt that if I put the tweeters on the side, that would bring them more in level with my ears. Now, when I added the T7Vs, I had no choice but to stand up the focals, because that was the only way they would fit, and I had to tilt them more as a consequence of that, so they are firing more towards my ear. I have used the focals on their side before, and they just sounded to me absolutely amazing, so I had no reason to experiment with that. As a matter of fact, the focal manual even says you can put them upside down with the tweeter on the bottom position, but I thought that might be a bit too extreme. Okay, moving on. Focal with KRK sub. I mean, a focal sub is what? Thousands of dollars. KRK, a few hundred. Again, it's filling in on the bottom frequency range for what it needs to do. It's more than enough for me. I might invest into a better sub when I'm rich, I guess. Until then, this is more than good enough for me. Good question though. How to build your home studio tutorial. I wish. Well, your wish just came true. Hey guys, thanks for your insights. How tall are your ceilings? Okay, good question, because I have an issue with that. So there are 2 ceiling heights in this studio. One of them is about 7 feet 8 inches, so 4 inches short of 8 feet. And then the one which I'm sitting under, which is right here on over the studio desk, is 6 feet and 6 inches, so 6.5 feet, which is pretty low, and as you remember, it gave me a few acoustic issues, but we figured those out, right? Moving on, show us how you're building, not just the progress. Guess this is also very interesting. Well, hopefully you've been following along for the past 15 plus hours and 100 plus videos, because I think we showed it. You can build anything at the... Oh, that's my mother-in-law. She's awesome. She's lovely. Thank you, Mama Reshma. Okay, if I don't have an interface, can I plug my headphones into the computer? Will that do? Oh, absolutely. I mean, if your computer has a headphone out, which is any laptop or MacBook or basically any computer, I believe, you can plug your headphones right into that. I don't see why not. The only issue you might have, that it's, if you're working in a DAW, it's not gonna be using its SEO driver. it might use the Windows DirectX driver instead, but I'm pretty sure there is a way to work around that. Anyways, long story short, yes, absolutely, you can use your headphones, plug them into the computer, and be merry with it. Would be nice, a masterclass achieving how to set up analog mixer with the rest of the hardware, explicit like type of connections, what can I do to go further, or experimentations with wiring machines through analog mixer and Ableton integrated, of course. Okay, so this is a lot of questions sort of combined into one big mega question. I think I've covered the gist of how to and why to use mixers in a home studio. If there is anything to add to that in addition, I mean, mixers are gonna come useful if you are trying to record multiple instruments, or even somebody singing, or even a full band. Mixers can come very useful if you're trying to record external synths, Eurorack, like I do. I know for a fact that I've detailed all the connections that go through my mixer and how to set those up. I know I've detailed what I use auxiliary sends on a mixer for, which is very important and answers one part of this question. In terms of experimental, I guess the only thing that I do experimental with the mixers is, number one, driving the channels with the gain knob. I tend to be careful with that because I don't want to blow the mixer channel itself, even though it's probably not ever going to cause any damage. But you know, if I really want to drive something, I'm just going to drive the preamp, one of the preamps, as I showed in one of the videos. Other than that, for experimentation, you know, some mixers come with the with onboard effects, so that would be a good source for experimentation, like when I explained the reason why I have the master outputs also connected to my patchbay, even though I'm not really using them. And at the end of the day, mixers are just gonna give you more flexibility. They can give you an analog touch to your sound, but it all comes down to, you know, why do you even need a mixer in the beginning? And if there is one advice, if you are gonna decide to buy a mixer that I can give you, and again, it comes from my stupidity and just not knowing what I was doing, is when you decide to pull the trigger on buying a mixer, then whatever size of mixer you think you need at that moment, if you can afford it and if you have the room to support it, buy something that's at least twice as big, okay? Because channels fill up real quick, you'll run out of room extremely quickly, especially if you are trying to use it in conjunction with Eurorack. You know, just buy something that is future-proof. So you don't buy one mixer and then 2 months later you're having to sell that one mixer just so you can buy a bigger one, right? Be proactive, and even though it costs a bit more money, at the end of the day it might save you money, because ultimately you are gonna need the larger mixer. So just go for the larger one, okay? That's just my advice. Now, I found one of the most capable mixers to do this is the SoundCraft Signature MTK22, and that's the mixer that I was using for the longest time. And the reason for that is because it also doubles as a 22 channel audio interface. So not only is it a kick-ass mixer with some very nice EQs, very nice preamps, great onboard effects, but it is capable of recording its own 22 channels simultaneously without the need of an additional audio interface. So it's kind of an all-in-one situation, and even though it's big and it's fairly expensive, it does replace an audio interface. So if you were to buy the alternate, which is a mixer with direct outs like the MixWizard, and the matching audio interfaces, because now it has 16 outputs, so you need something with 16 inputs, you are gonna end up paying double, 3 times the price even. So it's a very, very good, I would definitely recommend it. No, I am not affiliated with SoundCraft in any way, shape or form. It's just a fucking amazing mixer, and if you're looking for multi-tracking, especially for synths, then this is the way to go. Okay, moving on to the next one. What hardware to buy first to begin building a studio? Okay, so there was that entire segment about studios for different budgets. I'm gonna refer you to that one. Cable management tips and tricks. For a fact, I know we've gone through a lot of those. Remember the little Velcro ties and whatnot? Keep those in your back pocket at all times. Please talk about everything, okay? Especially I'm interested about acoustics and how to set up monitor speakers and stuff like that. So yes, again, we have a full section with Jesko, the acoustic insider, talking about acoustics, and there is another full section about how to set up the studio monitors properly. So a lot of those questions will be answered in those two segments. Thanks very much, Benjamin, for the question. You're absolutely amazing. I would like to know how you build the electrical grounding and noise reduction. There are lots of circuits there. So if you remember, this is actually one of the questions that I did address while we were wiring up the synths, and it came with one of my disclaimers and one of my warnings, you know, don't fuck around with electricity. I'm gonna say it again, don't mess around with electricity for the 967th time. But yeah, this question might be familiar from that video. And that was vlog sessions 11, and the last video a bit more wiring and cable management tips. Next one, please show how to use a patchbay. Oh, and how to integrate UREC into your complete setup. So yes, patchbays we went through. I'm gonna refer you to vlog sessions 9, so that's module number 9. We discuss everything about patchbays, normal, half normal connections, how to connect them to effects, how to connect them to mixers, so your answers will lie right in there. How to integrate UREC into your complete setup. So yes, we have touched upon that also. I mean, there are 1.5 million ways to do that. And even though this masterclass is more about building this home studio, I will refer you to my Analog Meets Digital Masterclass, because that is what it's talking about, this very subject, how to integrate UREC into your complete setup, which would be the digital aspect of things too. Analog Meets Digital will answer all your questions.